The following is a presentation of the Force Center podcast feed.
As Obi-Wan Kenobi once said, hello there, and welcome to Force Center Presents Databank Dive. I'm Joseph Scrimshaw.
I'm Napzok. Are you already laughing? Because I think we're going to have a really bizarre one today.
I was trying to have some up energy, and I said hello there real big, and that's not as Obi-Wan Kenobi once said. He didn't say, hello there, like a happy puppy. That's not the way Obi-Wan Kenobi talks.
So busy day. Well, we're going to talk wild and fun today. This is Databank Dive. This is our show where we grab a character, a planet, a place, a something, a this, a that from the Star Wars.com databank, and we talk about it. It is we take turns picking the topic, so it's always kind of fun to see what the other person picked. We did a season of this on the sci-fi app, The Companion. You can sign up for The Companion, get our first season on there, also get some cool articles and stuff about Star Trek, Stargate, Star Wars, Marvel, other things as well. Joseph, I'm going to pass the baton back to you for this one because, we got a wild one.
Yeah, so we're a week behind on Life Day, but when we were talking about Life Day, I was just so excited revisiting Life Day, and my mind went to the beloved, well-known Star Wars character, Attichitcuk. I always feel like a content warning should come before I say Attichitcuk's name. We're going to talk more about that, but I got to say it. Some people might know Attichitcuk better as Itchy, originally appearing in the Star Wars Holiday Special, of course, Chewbacca's father. Here's what the Star Wars.com databank has to say about Attichitcuk. Nothing. They don't acknowledge his existence. I could not find anything about Itchy on the actual databank. How do you feel about that, Ken?
I understand it because the holiday specials, infamous standing inside the Lucasfilm walls for years and maybe even now. I just think there's more people that love it than they know, and maybe they do. Maybe there's a fight. Maybe this is the docu-series we need of the fight to get the holiday special recognized on the .com database. I'm slightly disappointed that at least Itchy's not there. Mala, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, Itchy's canon. That always sounds so weird. Like, he's valid. He's real. But he has been acknowledged in modern canon, I do believe. If you go to his Wookieepedia tab, which we are going to, or his Wikipedia page, the Legends tab contains quite a large number of adventures. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not familiar with all of Attichitcuk's adventures. Here's what the Wookieepedia does have to say on the canon tab. There's a little bit more here because it's so fascinating. Here we go. Attichitcuk was the father of the Wookiee Chewbacca, who, when introducing himself to Han Solo, referred to himself as Chewbacca, son of Attichitcuk. I believe that is the actual translation from the movie Solo. So that's how Attichitcuk gets into modern canon. Attichitcuk and Chewbacca's mother lived in the city of Ruorkroro on the planet Kashyyyk. By the year 19 BBY, Attichitcuk was already a light-furred elderly Wookiee. Nevertheless, he participated in the Battle of Kashyyyk, serving as a gunner aboard an Ovair jet catamaran piloted by Zidasaba and Wulfwaro. The old Wookiee threw thermal detonators at the enemy, having practiced his throw in virtual reality games played on a mind evaporator headset. All right, let's just stop there for a second. How do you feel about that?
I love it. This is the silliest, weirdest thing ever. I love it. It's just proof that my horse riding skills will improve the more I play Red Dead Redemption.
That information comes to us from Star Wars Complete Vehicles, written in the year 2018 by a lot of people. So who knows who made those decisions in the canonical life of Attichitcuk. But there you go. It goes on to say he later went on to mentor the Trandoshan Dashnaluluk, daughter of Kratos and clutchmate of Bosk. With his help, Dashnaluluk eventually made a name for saving Wookiees from slavery, taking on the alias Chainbreaker. That, I know, is from the great Bosk story in the Empire Strikes Back from a Certain Point of View book. I loved that story.
That's a great
great one. I loved Dosh, Chainbreaker, as we'll call her. And I forgot that Itchy was a big deal in that story. Here's even more from Wookieepedia. Attichitcuk was first mentioned in Star Wars canon in the 2018 Star Wars anthology film Solo: A Star Wars Story. In the film, Chewbacca mentions him in Shirawuk, though his name was annotated in the screenplay. Joe Schreiber's junior novelization of the film presents the conversation translated to galactic basic standards so the reader can understand what Chewbacca says to Han. In Star Wars Legends, Attichitcuk, then known as Itchy, was created by George Lucas for the Star Wars Holiday Special, a variety show aired by CBS on November 17th, 1978, where he was played by actor Paul Kael. Attichitcuk's appearance was designed by Joe Johnston, who had worked as head storyboard artist on the Star Wars original trilogy. In his conceptual drawings, Johnston described Attichitcuk as a 350 to 375 years old Wookiee. Many of Attichitcuk's characteristics can also be attributed to Ralph McQuarrie, who recalled drawing an old Wookiee getting up out of his chair and several females and children. It's a little bit on the actual background of Attichitcuk and how he fits into our Star Wars world. Any thoughts on that, Ken, on his canonical appearances?
There's so much. I'm glad you reminded me of the From a Certain Point of View story. That's great stuff. You're killing the names, by the way. More on that, I'm sure. Yeah, I vaguely remember his name being mentioned, or was intended to be mentioned there in the Solo spot. I think that Joe Schreiber's junior novelization should be the standard for all novelizations. I'd love to have the Galactic Basics so I can understand Easter a little bit more. This is fantastic stuff. So many details, other things in there that we're not even fully mentioning yet. But like he was going to be in Revenge of the Sith. It was kind of possibly designed for that. It was going to maybe die. There's so much going on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, there's a lot in there. Yeah, about and that was the Han subplot that was dropped of him being raised by the Wookiees. Amazing stuff.
I'm glad it didn't happen for a lot of reasons. Number one, then it wouldn't maybe invalidate the holiday special.
I was thinking that's got to be one of the big draws to George Lucas. If he was like, yeah, I think we're going to have Chewie's father in here and he's going to sacrifice himself. And then somebody says, what about the holiday special? George Lucas is like, I'm going to kill him harder just to break the canon of the holiday special. Yeah. So, Ken, how would you physically describe Attichitcuk?
So what version? What era?
Well, let's see. I mean, I guess starting with maybe his holiday show appearance, or if maybe you could even approach it as these are many different ideas of what he allegedly looked like. What is the Attichitcuk truth? I'm
going to go to the truth that I would say, if you say this name and someone knows it, Attichitcuk, and they go, oh, Itchy, they're going to go to the Star Wars Holiday Special, which is a extra long-haired, furry Wookiee with an underbite like an old man at a bus station, with a little bit of a Lhasa Apso kind of face, a little fur, a little Wookiee nose, some intense eyes, holding, in this one photo, holding an X-Wing toy. Hunched over, gray, seeping through the light brown. A Wookiee as you know him, but just a little more frail and a little more comfortable in his chair.
He does have a wooden X-Wing in this one. Yeah. I think that is really, really great. A very accurate physical description. He is definitely an elder, a little shorter. Maybe it looks a little bit like he's got some spinal issues going on. Very, very gray, not necessarily even white, gray, the sort of the color of age and wisdom all over his fur. Definitely a big underbite. I thought at first maybe like we're kind of going with a gumming joke, but he's got some teeth still going on. Yeah, so there's a lot of sort of stereotypes of being elderly for sure going on with old Itchy. But when I was trying to find a way to go ahead.
He definitely reads like a 1978 variety show sketch character of an old man.
He absolutely does. You know how old people do this?
That's him.
That's an oldie. Yeah. I mean, we're still dealing with, the 70s, variety shows, I think, have history in, vaudeville and in panto and that, where they're stock character types, even going back to early Italian comedy where what type of clown are you? Like, well, he's an old man clown.
Yeah.
So there is that legacy there. I was trying to describe him like without necessarily describing his physical features, but trying to describe like the spirit of what he looks like. And there's something about him. This is not entirely accurate, but emotionally to me, he looks like if Gandalf had a really rough life. There's just
took some turds, dropped out of the fight, developed a drinking problem and a video game addiction.
Yeah, a little bit of like, okay, well, your long hair and your beard just kind of met and covered your entire body.
It's all of our futures. But yes, that's accurate to me.
Yeah. When your hair meets and your beard meets. Oh, it's elderly time. All right. We got a good sense of what Attichitcuk looks like. For you, what is the magic of Attichitcuk? What does he add to the legend of Star Wars?
I go a few ways with this, and we've been discussing the holiday special recently here on like the news and cues, and we're always gonna every year, every time November 17th rolls around, we're gonna mention this special. It's fantastic in so many ways. It's horrible in so many ways. It's all of it, and I love celebrating all of it. And for years, knowing that, he's tied to a specific infamous scene in the holiday special that gets discussed. All the comedy kind of beats or intended comedy you and I are discussing in his appearance. But I'll tell you this: I've always been fascinated by Chewbacca having a family. It makes sense. It makes Chewbacca didn't spring out of the ground. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he could be like an egg mate, like the Tubes brothers. Tubes is my man. But I love that. I've actually always loved that. Honestly, that Itchy, then Mala, his wife, and his son. I've wondered why Chewie hasn't been around the house for a bit. Got some maybe talks with Chewie coming, but I love Itchy, and I think it's a magic. Talk about the tip of the iceberg or family, all these big themes in Star Wars. Chewie's got that. Itchy represents that. And why wouldn't you want to see more? Did the holiday special nail it? Maybe not. But I wouldn't. I love that there's continued storytelling, and that even when Wendig brought Lumpa Waru back for an Aftermath mentions it, it made sense to me. I don't roll my eyes and go, "Oh, holiday special," because to me this is just part of the Star Wars story and the story of Chewbacca. So I'm fascinated with it and would like to know more. Take me. You know what? Itchy could show up in the High Republic, and it would make sense for me.
Big and strong. Yeah, no, that'd be great. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think that is the part of the Life Day that does resonate. It is these big ideas in Star Wars that do matter about family and connection and tradition, and in the generational tale of Star Wars, no one just exists, right? And this idea that Chewie has a family, he has a culture with all these traditions. That's a part of his name, right? That I'm Chewbacca, son of Attichitcuk. That the past does matter, where it came from matters. Some of those kind of big ideas in Star Wars, you can see all wrapped up in the dirty gray fur of Attichitcuk. But I think he also, to me, represents something that we've talked about in Star Wars, where I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this. It's almost like that was a comedy character. Yeah, it's been dropped on the floor, but we can dust it off.
Yeah.
Like Jackson, Jackson used to be one of those joke characters, and then you get writers who care about him and come through and kind of try to say, well, what's actually interesting about this character? And I feel like Itchy is a huge example of this, right? You could do a whole documentary called, Itchy. From Itchy to Attichitcuk, the story of Star Wars, right? How characters start out is just totally comedic, totally bonkers, and then you get people who want to tell their story, dive in, give them meaning. Look at the length of his Legends tab that gets into the culture of Wookiees. You got Itchy mourning for Chewbacca when he sacrifices himself and gets crushed by a moon in the Legends canon. It's some dead serious stuff with proud warrior Attichitcuk.
It really is. And this is the Jackson rabbit of it all, right? This is where I kind of had my mind changed on that with what's his name? Kevin Scott comes in and brings the love into that, right? And it's easy to. You and I love all Star Wars. We love poking fun at Star Wars. We should remind yourselves you can laugh at Star Wars just as well as you laugh with it and be moved by it, because it's part of the fun. It's crazy. It's just silly. But beneath it all, you're going to find a fan. You always say, somewhere someone's got an itchy tattoo. You don't say it related to itchy. You just say in general, there's someone's got a tattoo of some character out there. And it's to be celebrated. So this is, again, why I would love more storytelling with him, but just knowing he's there. Even if Chewbacca has not been crushed by a moon at this point in canon, that maybe somewhere Itchy is sad that his son's not there to catch a Sunday game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even just the name of like, okay, he's named Itchy.
Yes.
In the holiday special, then people are like, actually, that is short for Attichitcuk, proud warrior. We can dust it off. We can have some fun with this. We can have some meaning here. That is definitely, to me, one of the big values of Itchy. There is so much fun stuff to discuss about Attichitcuk. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to dive into some of those infamous scenes, and we're going to guess a little bit on how Attichitcuk feels about lots of galactic events. Back in a moment. And we are back to continue our discussion of Itchy, a.k.a. Attichitcuk. And Ken, I need to know how you feel about this name. There are lots of silly, bonkers, over-the-top names, some too on-the-nose names in Star Wars. Savage Opress comes to mind. We've been joking about characters in Andor having just like, those are human names spelled with extra letters. Hello, Tim Carlo. But Attichitcuk. That's something different. Are you willing to say the name Attichitcuk out loud in public to a non-Star Wars fan, or does it feel too offensive somehow?
Look, no, I would try. I think the bigger question is could I say it? I have a weird, I don't know if it's an impediment. I just all my life, and I've never really spoke about it, but I think if you listen to me enough, like I flip syllables every now and then. I just add a letter in there that's not there. It's a little thing that's always been there with me. This is a name that just challenges the hell out of me. Attichitcuk. I'm saying cook. It's Attichitcuk. Like, so I would be afraid to say it just because I'd really mess it up. But I give it a go. I give it a go because it's Star Wars. And is it too offensive? I'd explain where it's from. You know, I'd be proud to represent my friend Attichitcuk. Attichitcuk.
Yeah, I think it's Itchy. Yeah. Maybe understandable he decided to go by the nickname Itchy. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Same with Lumpy.
Lumpuwaru at least is a little, that still sounds fun. Yeah, I remember looking up Malatobuk and being like, I thought her name was just Mala, but it's Malatobuk. And that was one of those fun things that I like knowing about Star Wars. I don't know why I didn't discover Attichitcuk until later in life. But to me, it's one of those words. There's a couple fun things about it. I encountered for myself doing a lot of theater. There'd be those words where like, you can't sound them out. You have to get a running start. It's like jumping over a brook. You can't just kind of half do it. You got to go all in, or you're gonna fall in halfway through the word. You're gonna be done. And there's something about Attichitcuk that's like, you got to get a running start and come at that word full commitment, no doubt.
You're making it sound like the third act of Last Mohicans. You got to charge up the hill. This is great. That's a wonderful description. I'd love to have that discussion with you in a lobby bar. I sometimes have to get over it. What happens with me by just running through it and acting like I said it right.
Yep.
You got to go with it, and then you get the flow, you get the rhythm. Especially if you're doing like voiceovers and VO stuff, you can hit it. And then the word isn't a problem for me. It happens. But yeah, this is definitely one of those ones. But instead of like running up a hill, it drops down and it comes to the bridge you got to take. There's a rope bridge, and then it just goes into a gully. Yeah,
it's an obstacle course of a name. And then it's obviously chit just sounds like the naughty S word, but it also sounds like maybe that's offensive to somebody, right? That's probably a bad name that we shouldn't use, right? It just has that flavor. And then how could people know when they came up with this that cuck would take on a whole terrible relevance to our lives?
Yep. Yeah, I think I said this on Force Center before. Man, I apologize if I have, but there was a baseball player in the late 80s into the 90s named Dante Bichette. And I would not say that name around my friends' parents or my parents.
Yeah.
Finally, one of my friends' moms, who was less worried about it, was like, but it's his name. It's got a little maybe French Cajun, or I think he was even from Canada. But it was just like you can say that, Kenny.
Yeah, there's an old school. I'm going to get my mouth washed up with soap if I say the name of Chewie's father out loud. Yeah.
So,
that's hilarious. So let's talk about the Itchy controversy. In the holiday special, Attichitcuk, then known as Itchy, watches an explicitly sexy song and dance performed by Diane Carroll on what is basically a VR headset. I rewatched it because I was like, yeah, no, I know it's a song and dance and it's sexy. I forgot that like a lot of the song is about like giving him pleasure and do you want to feel this and do you want to feel that?
Yeah.
And are we connecting? Do you like that? So how do you feel about that video? And do you think Itchy would buy stock in Meta?
Yeah, he absolutely would. Itchy sounds like someone who would take his YouTube channel and turn it into a deep fake channel. He sounds like he's a disruptor of industry. This scene is spectacular. I remember. I think I'd always heard about it, and I saw maybe stills of it, even during the internet era. And then finally, I had the opportunity to just like watch that clip, and this is maybe early 2000s, and it was like it is worse and better than I could ever have imagined. It's better.
It's spectacular and not even remotely subtle, which I always forget and then revisit and be like, I remember it anew.
Yeah, look, hey, sexuality is a part of life. Sexual desire is part of life, and they should be part of Star Wars. In fact, hey, we just finished Andor. We got Tim Carlo in his socks a night after a romantic interlude with Bix. It's there. It should be. I understand Star Wars is going to deal with it a little bit differently than other properties, as I think it should. But Itchy's, he's a groundbreaker in Star Wars. He was the first to get there.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have been big on, we love Andor, but, some of the ideas that are in Andor, they're expressed so well, but they're not entirely unique to Andor, right? And I mean, that's a conversation we can have on, like, look, if you think like some of the actual sexual attraction going on between characters in Andor is good, that's great. But let's remember where we broke that ground, the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Some other novels have done a great job with it. Yeah, I think Itchy walked so Tim Carlo's socks could run.
Very well said. I think Itchy is picky about what VR headset he gets. I like that he's using one called a mind evaporator, according to Wookieepedia. I think he maybe turns up his wise old Wookiee nose at Meta. I don't think he's going to buy stock in something where his avatar doesn't have legs yet. That's just bull bleep.
No, absolutely. It's bull Attichitcuk. He would take one look at Zuckerberg and be like, no, not with that hair.
Yeah. No. I mean, the actual. How do I feel about like, hey, there's that Star Wars holiday special, and it's this kind of weird, warm family holiday thing, and then like there's a whole interlude where Chewie's elderly father just needs, in the parlance of modern social media, needs to go to horny jail.
I'm trying to think of that era. It was this. We grew up in that era. I used to watch the Mandrell sisters every Saturday night on channel. I think they were right after the Muppet Show. The Variety Hour. But I think I always remember it. Looking back. But again, maybe I wasn't getting the jokes. But it's like it was sexual innuendos. It was double entendres. It was Charles Nelson Riley going, oh, he's chopping wood. It was, and here's Itchy just going, man, I'm sitting on the couch and getting to it.
It really is. I think it is like strangely complicated. You're right, because I'm all for sexuality as a part of life, and you shouldn't be ashamed of it, and you should find ways to talk about it respectfully. And you should pick and choose, and parents should certainly know when those conversations are happening, so they can have conversations for themselves with their kids and all that kind of stuff. So there's that part of me is like, I'm not just going to sit here and sexuality shame Attichitcuk. But I think it's just also an example of sort of like how times change and how sort of stock characters have changed, right? I think what's weird to me about it is it is a stock joke from that era of comedy, of variety shows that, hey, Grandpa's still horny after all these years. What are you going to do? You know, a lady walked by and Grandpa went, whoa, and his teeth fell out. Isn't it funny that Grandpa's still horny? Like, that was a stock character of the time. That used to be a family joke, right?
Yeah.
You know, you'd sit down for a family show and you'd be like, oh, hey, you know, this character's a drunk, you know, like Uncle so-and-so, you know, and this is an old horny grandpa, you know, like your horny grandpa. Like it was just a thing.
Come on, Grandpa, you could be thirsty, but know when to drink. All right.
Yeah. So my official answer is, I'm very confused. I don't know how to feel about this, except to be having fun discussing it.
Yeah, no, it's fun. But if you're listening and you haven't actually watched this and you only know about it in lore, take some time, seek it out, watch it.
No one is exaggerating.
No.
All right, getting back to some different matters. How do you think Attichitcuk felt about his fur going entirely white?
I think there's some pride in this. I don't know all the intricacies of Wookiee culture, but I think they looked at this differently than, say, I do when I look in the mirror. My beard's more and more white every day, and I'm okay. The salt and pepper I was like, I'm good with this. This is great. You know, I'll get to the all white, and it's going to be fine, and it's something we all have to face. And my mom's hair turned white in her 30s, not unlike Steve Martin, and she had to deal with that then. It was hard, and she didn't diet. She didn't. She stuck with it. Always proud of her for that. And if she wanted to die, that would have been great as well. But I think all that to say, our real world hangups over it aren't as prevalent in the Wookiee village there. I think this is Itchy's like, yeah, this is where I am now. I used to be a great warrior. I used to fight. I fought in the Battle of Kashyyyk. And here I am now on the couch.
Yeah, no, I think that is a part of the whole Wookiee story of like their culture respects elders, right? Itchy is a valuable member of the family. Chewbacca is still proud to be his son. So I like the idea that, you know, I kind of hope that it happened overnight after one specific battle and he gets to tell stories about it. Like, you want to hear about when my fur went white? Sit down, kids.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you old school without a VR headset. I'm just going to tell you with my mouth.
That just makes some growls. Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah. Do you think Attichitcuk approved of Chewie's relationship with Han? We have some answers in the Legends tab, but in modern canon, how do you think Attichitcuk felt about Chewie making this life bond with this young scoundrel?
Yeah, I think in terms of like a life bond, or if it's still officially a life debt.
Life debt, yes.
Yeah, well, but I know that that phrase wasn't used in Solo, and some people had some questions about that going forward. But life debt. I think they respect it. I think if Chewie says that, they're going to be like, all right, we get it. And Han, you're welcome at our dinner table. I still think in my headcanon, think Mala has I'd just love to know, like, is this built in? Maybe this is the culture. This is the relationship. Mala's like, go do your thing. I'm here. I'll do my thing. And I'm not talking in terms of like an open marriage. I'm just talking about like, hey, you got to work this weekend. Go for it. Like, but the weekend is an entire galactic civil war. Like, I don't know. So I wonder if I'm thinking on the fly. I think there was initially a misreading of Han by maybe Itchy. Like, you got a life debt to this guy. And then as Han changed and grew, by the time we see him in the holiday special, post Battle of Yavin, maybe word's gotten out. Maybe Chewie said, here's what we've done. And maybe Itchy's like, you know what? I once fought for freedom. I once fought for my people, community, and the galaxy at large. And if you can commit to that, you've earned my respect. You'll always have my, understanding and respect for the life debt. But maybe Han grew into it and earned it a little bit more for the family.
Yeah, I think I feel that too. At first, there's like, what do you, son? You are so full of honor. What do you see in? Okay, he helped you escape from prison. Great. Right. Okay, we really like that. But what else do you see in this guy? And then eventually, over time, I really feel like Itchy and Han would bond. And I have this picture of Itchy picking out sexy olives for Han for his birthday.
Love that.
It's another one from old Itchy. on the Legends tab for Attichitcuk, there's a whole section called "Burying His Son," and the quote attached to it is Attichitcuk saying to Han Solo, "Death may have extinguished my son's defiant flame, but our debt to you continues until yours is extinguished."
Oh,
from watching a horny VR headset to this somber moment, that is the story of Attichitcuk.
That's beautiful. That's touching.
We always like to make it personal as we begin to wrap up our episode here. So, Ken, would you ever want to cosplay as Attichitcuk?
I think I'm getting there. Yes. I would. That'd be a character. I don't cosplay much. I actually don't cosplay at all, I should say. But I like that one.
I would be happy to. I have enjoyed in the past playing older people in shows. It's a fun way to really get into your body and really imagine what it feels like when your body is working a different way. So like it'd be a really fun way to go around a convention. Nobody could recognize you. And they'd be like, well, that might be an actual elderly person that we should give some space to. And maybe a good way for me to shop for action figures at Star Wars Celebration is to dress up as Attichitcuk and try to convince people I'm actually, hundreds of years old.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm just trying to think, going to all the conventions, Star Wars or otherwise. I don't recall like anyone going around with like an itchy with like a hologram Diane Carroll that they can hold out in front of them or something.
We got to put a call out for that. My Lord.
You got the pink short sound guy. You got Tarkin with slippers. I love all that, but I haven't seen a lot of itchies. If there are, I'd love to see some photos. Let us know.
Yeah, itchy with mind evaporator headset. Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's do it. Would you want to live to over 300 years like Attichitcuk has?
No. I was talking with our friend Billy Patterson, Billy Business, and he said he read an article that if people live to if you're around by 2030, the health advancements could make it that you live to the average lifespan, not average lifespan, but lifespan, you could live to 120. And we were talking about it. I'm like, I think I'm good. I'm not going that Wookiee route. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think this is a part of my, I always want there to be hope. I've mentioned it as something that I need to be careful about. Sometimes, a friend just wants to tell me what they're bummed out about. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, but around the corner. And sometimes I need to learn to just be like, nope. You just need to commiserate that something bad happened. I get it. I think that's a good way to illustrate how I relate to hope. And I think as a part of that is just I want to live as long as humanly possible. I want to live until I'm good. Okay. I'm ready.
I want to live forever. Yeah.
And I feel 300 years, I'd probably be yeah, what more do I got to do? So yeah, I want to match Itchy if at all possible.
Okay. Yeah. I'm there. Cool.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't get to just decide. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Exactly.
I got itchy goals, put it that way. We're going to move on to our final rating. We are going to rate the wild and weird factor of Attichitcuk. Our rating is based on one of the original Star Wars weirdos, Lobot. So out of 10 Lobot heads, 1 being the least, 10 being the most, how many Lobot heads do you give Attichitcuk? How weird is he, Ken?
Okay, so here's the thing. The idea of a elderly or elder Wookiee in the city there, Chewbacca's father, that's not weird. That's what I would expect from the Star Wars storytelling. But then you see Itchy in his later years, and then you see that scene, and it's almost an 11 out of 10. So I'm gonna have to find the middle ground, and I'll go 8.5 out of 10. Normal Grandpa Wookiee doing some weird things.
Yeah, no, I get you. The on paper, or probably even just reading some of his adventures in the Legends continuity back in the day in those books, it'd probably be yeah, what's weird about this? Chewie has an honorable warrior father who has grown a little bit old. What?
Yeah.
But that is not how I've experienced Attichitcuk. I've experienced him as a weird, horny grandpa with a name that I'm afraid to say in public. Mm-hmm. So I got to give him a 10 out of 10 for just being damn weird as I relate to Attichitcuk.
I think that's right. I think that's accurate.
Maybe he has 10 Lobot heads. Who knows? Who knows what Attichitcuk has in his closets? You'll never know. All right, that is our big look at Attichitcuk. You can find links to all things Force Center on our Twitter at Force Center Pod. We are also now on Hive. No pod in the handle, just at Force Center. So check us out there. Ken, where can people find you and your adventures?
Yeah, find me at Ken Napzok. Go to my website, kennapzok.com. If you're in town, Los Angeles, Southern California, you want to come on out for a fun event, December 3rd, 2 shows. Mark Ellis is taping his next comedy special. I'm doing some hosting of the event, 7 o'clock at a 9:30 show. Very fun, special occasion. So if you're around, come on out. Ticket information on my website.
Excellent. And you can find me on all the social media is at Joseph Scrimshaw, and check out my YouTube channel by going to YouTube and searching Joseph Scrimshaw. But for now, for myself, for Ken, for Attichitcuk, this has been Databank Dive.